welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Are you in conflict with someone and can't quite figure out why it cuts so deep? Is it them, or is it something deeper being mirrored back to you? In this video, it isn't just about resolving a fight. It's about understanding why you ended up in the conflict in the first place. What really triggered you? What's the wound underneath the reaction? And why are they truly the enemy? Are they the enemy? Are they just a mirror of your reflection? So in this tarot reading, we're going to go deeper and we're going to go beyond the surface of this level of the drama. And we're going to look at both sides. We're going to explore the emotional roots and figure out what is this tension and what is this tension actually trying to teach you. So if you're ready for the truth, not just peace, but the actual truth and completion of this and healing from this, then let's get started. You're at the right place.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
Okay, so first, we're going to talk about your perspective and their perspective. So this is your perspective of the issue, and this is their perspective of the issue. Okay, so your perspective is that you wanted a change. You wanted a transformation of something. You wanted to start over. This is also the energy of Scorpio. So just brutally honest, you wanted to get beyond the surface level. You wanted something deeper. And your perspective probably was trying to help them psychologically, or there was some healing, or there's something also too that is taboo. Things that are very mysterious, and you wanted to address the taboo or the mystery of things. Now, Scorpio also could deal with finances, so there is that, and maybe there is a controlling element of finances here because that also are shared resources as well. Now, another thing that I see is that you wanted to change overall. The gist of it is that you wanted to change. You wanted some type of healing, and it could be a psychological healing. Your perspective of this is that this needed to be addressed because it's under the surface and there needs to be a change. Now, their perspective of this whole conflict is that they were just here to gather information. They're researching. The situation is making them seek a new path of self-improvement, or maybe they're moving past their comfort zone and they are looking for new potential, or they're about to travel. This is literally a card of about to travel or adventure, or something of the home or something of the family, something of the heart. And they were just trying to manifest some type of dream that they were experiencing. So here you are trying to go deep. It looks like they're trying to have fun. They're like, it's not that deep. We're trying to be lighthearted. We're trying to have fun. I'm just trying to go on an adventure. I'm actually trying to travel here. This is a preparation of this. And this is actually really going deep. This is much deeper than their perspective. You are being really deep compared to their perspective. So let's say this argument hasn't happened. You haven't confronted them yet. And it says, what will happen if you keep fighting? And we have the 8 of voices. This already is a very dark energy, right? This is the energy of you're going to feel trapped. You're not going to be seen. It looks like someone who is blindfolded looking forward, but you're going to feel like you're the victim. You're making yourself the victim. You're looking at yourself. Well, you're not even looking at yourself. The things that you are thinking are very negative. And if you choose to continue on to fight, the negativity and you putting yourself in a prison is what's going to happen here. Now, what is your inner voice telling you? The message from the inner rebel that is telling you to fight. It's saying here that, oh, look, you have so many options. You can fight and have peace at the same time. For some reason, your inner voice is saying you can do it all. You can juggle it all. You can give them the advice. You could be confrontational. You can have conflict, and at the same time, you can have harmony, and everything will be good. Juggling 2 things at the same time. However, what is the message from the inner peacekeeper? So this is the fighter. I'll actually put this here. This is the fighter, and this is the person who wants to peace. Now, the inner peacekeeper is saying that if you don't address this, there will be a disruption. This is the Tower card. The Tower card represents a disruption. So it looks like something that has to be addressed, period. So here it is. This duality here is that there is going to be addressing the conflict, And it looks like here this could be involving money. This could be involving something that's very tangible. That is what this card represents, the material. And there has to be a discussion. So there can be a balance because you are juggling these two things. If you don't discuss it, if you're just like, okay, we just want to address it, there will be a huge chaos, a disruption happening here. Now, how can you honor both sides? And we have the Ace of Pentacles. You can start addressing money, think of new ideas of finances. This definitely is an argument over money, but this could be a discussion of finances here. Either you have new ideas on money, or I just can only think of money. This is what this card represents. It represents something tangible. It could represent your house, that you are now discussing that, thinking about that, or changing your energy. Instead of traveling here, you're focused on buying a home. Instead of preparing to have fun, you are focused on things that are mattering of long-term energy, or patience, or taking your time, things that are very tangible. So this also could be the person who started the conflict, and this could be the person who was just the innocent one who didn't have the conflict. If it's not addressed, there is still going to be an issue. If the person didn't start the conflict, there will still be a disruption and chaos. So it looks like this person who maybe didn't want to start the conflict here, because this is a very deep energy here. The Scorpio energy is very deep. They are knowing that if they do this, they are the one who is the victim, or the one who is, it looks like the one in crime is usually someone who is locked behind this bars that they created themselves. That's what this card represents. But it's like they're at this duality. If I don't say anything, I'm juggling so many things financially here. So there is something that has to be addressed. And this person who, you see this card, this side is much darker. This side on appearance looks very light. However, when you get deeper, there is darkness. There is disruption. There is arguments. There is chaos. They are depending on a false structure. So this issue had to 100% be addressed. What will happen if you surrender? Wow, you have the Sun card. There'll be productivity, positivity, and success. Surrendering means compromising. Surrendering means, here we have the Seven of Voices, which is really the Seven of Swords. This is talking about someone who is stealing. So whoever is the one who is being deceitful and lying, that needs to be surrendered. Is it the person who is having a conflict or not? Once you release that, there is success. So if the person is stealing from you, or lying, or being deceitful, once that is addressed, then there can be production and honesty. And it looks like this is bringing this to light too. This deceitfulness, this dishonesty. And once you surrender to forgiveness of that, releasing this energy, or bringing light to it, here's the light, this is what's happening, this person is being deceitful, then that starts the surrendering process, because you brought light to it, people see it, and now it can be released. I hope that makes sense. What is the root of this conflict? The root of this conflict is the truth, the honesty. This is the Queen of Voices. The Queen of Voices loves to talk about honesty. It likes to be really logical, and it really is just off of communication. So it looks like the root of the problem, the root of the conflict, is that there was something said and it was very honest. It was very blunt, because this is a queen, so there is water element added to it. So maybe it wasn't as blunt as I'm saying. Maybe it was something said and it was just honest, and a person couldn't handle the honesty. Now it looks like here the Queen of Voices is someone who is saying this with compassion and nurturing energy. There is love with what it said. However, the message is very honest, because that's what this card will represent, honesty. And what needs to be said even though it's hard. We have the Page of Emotions. It looks like opening up the heart, opening up your feelings, being honest of what you truly feel. You literally see this in this card. All these things in this card also reminds me of, because you're dealing with Pisces element, of secrets. So release the secrets and open it. But actually you want to be honest, and you want it to come from a loving energy, as in the heart. What needs to be said, even though it's hard, is what you truly feel. Talk about your emotions. Don't really talk about the actual conflict. Talk about the emotions at hand. What do you need to hear? Again, more emotions. And we have the Muse of Emotions. And this is really the king of emotions here. And it looks like what you need to hear is that there's going to be healing. You need to hear that this relationship is going to develop. You need to hear that this is all stemmed from love. You need to hear that there's emotional intelligence, there's processing. You are processing the information to help each other heal, to help each other with the relationship. This is all about love. This is all about emotional maturity. This is also about really addressing the things that people don't want to talk about. This looks like a conversation that may be involving tears because people are being honest. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of being very fluid with your emotions, being open with your emotions. And this is what needs to be said. What needs to be said is that you are loved, that there is compassion, that this is a relationship that's really deep. There needs to be some psychological healing. There needs to be also something addressed spiritually. What do you need to be addressed that is a spiritual element because you're not fulfilling it? It looks like there's some money issues here and it's being fulfilled instead of being fulfilled spiritually. That is what you need to hear, but what do they need to hear? They need to hear that they have money. They need to hear that finances are good. So it looks like here you are more dealing with the spiritual aspect and you're dealing with more deep psychological, and they are caring about the tangible items here, and that needs to be addressed for them. More tangible abundance, not in lack, that their family is going to have their back, that this partner is going to have their back, that they are going to get an inheritance of some sort, but they are focused on the finances. You are focused on the spiritual aspect, and how can we make these two blend together? And we have the 10 of emotions in reverse, and it with this one, to make these things blend together is to not act like everything's all good in the hood. I'm sorry, I don't know why I made that rhyme, but to not be fake. This is something that may take some time, but this is abundance of love, right? And there needs to be an awareness. Not everything's going to be a rose-colored lens. Not everything's going to have the illusion of everyone's going to have your back financially or just spend a lot of money. Whatever this issue is, it's something with tangible items here, and there needs to be an address of, look, not everything is just fake, because that's what I get out of this energy, a lot of fake energy. It looks like the emotions are not fulfilled. There is some family issues. It's something with connecting with the universe and love and God. Also, it's all lacking and it needs to be addressed so there can be a unity here. I hope this makes sense. What triggered this conversation, this argument? And we have the 7 of inspiration. So this is really the 7 of wands. What triggered it is that you're like, oh, look, I'm trying to defend myself. There's haters. This is usually a person who is sitting there and they have their wand and they're just like, listen, I was on stage and now everyone's just a hater because I was on stage. That kind of energy. But this is someone who's trying to stay strong, defend themselves. So it looks like this triggered is because you're like, look, I'm just trying to defend myself. So this argument probably got bigger because someone was being defensive. What past wound is connected to this? And we have the Ace of Voices. So the past wound is the honesty, the thought of clarity, the awakening of clarity, the awakening of new ideas. And this one is what triggered all of this, triggered this conflict that you're having. You had an aha moment. God has given this to you and you decided to be brutally honest. Brutally, I don't mean to be brutally, but you decided to be honest and put this out there. So a new thought, a new clarity, a new idea, or a new voice. You're probably new to voicing your opinions. And that started this awareness of what's going on. And that triggered this whole situation here. And you in the past learning to, I think this was more about their past, learning to have a voice, you learning to stand up, you learning to having clarity about things is what opened the door to all this interesting things here. However, this is a very positive energy and I don't want you to be afraid to speak up and say your truth. And it's going to bring conflict and your truth may not be their truth. You see here, you're focused more on darker energy, a lot of darkness to go see the light, a lot of healing energy here. Yes, and honesty and clarity. And this energy here looks like it's all about focusing on fun and materialism. There is going to be a disruption here, big time. And to bring this unity here it looks like they need this darkness in order to not have this rose-colored lens because it's all a facade. This is what this card represents. That 10 of emotions is like everything's loving, everything's blissful, but it's not. It is a facade. It is a lie. So there needs to be an awareness of this brought back up. And it looks like this is your job. I know this conflict is something that you don't want done, but it is something that needs to be said because there's someone lying that needs to be brought to the light. What is the real emotion behind your reaction? And we have the 7 of materials, something dealing with a charity. I don't know if they borrowed money. I don't know if money was lent, but this is all about financial. Again, a lot of things on a financial element here. This is also the long game of investments and manifesting the future. It's money. And this is like planting the seeds so you can see something grow. So you want something planted so you can see it grow for the long term. And the real reaction is here, what are the finances going to look like in the long term? Because in the short term, the finances, this is someone who's planting a seed and watching it grow. And are you watering your garden? Are you taking care of your finances? Again, I keep saying finances because that's what material is, but it could also be a home. It could also be your weight, and you're probably addressing someone who lost weight or didn't lose weight. This is something tangible. This is also could be addressing their health. Someone who's not dealing with their health as well. And it's like you are focused on, this is what triggered it. This is the root of the problem. This is what the real emotion behind your reaction is, that you're not taking care of your health. You're not taking care of your home. You're not taking care of your finances. You're not taking care of the tangible things. You're just thinking about traveling and having fun, or you're just thinking like, oh, if everyone just give me money, if I just get an inheritance, because that's what that's about, everything's good. But there is a false structure that the person is depending on that you have had conflict with. There's a false structure happening here, and they need to change the foundation because their foundation is not something to lean on. It's not a true foundation. So now we're going to get into what is this all teaching me, okay? What is the true lesson here between this conflict? Okay, so what is this argument or conflict? It's teaching you well-being, and it's teaching you choice. I'm going to actually see this deck I actually really love. It's called the Whispers of Healing Oracle deck. And I'm going to read from the guidebook 21. And it says here, so what is this conflict teaching you? Having an upbeat nature doesn't just happen. If you would like to enjoy your life and maintain a positive outlook, it is important to take an enthusiastic approach. Staying positive and appreciative through life's dilemmas can prove difficult. Examine your approach to life. Reflect on how your lifestyle and worldview impacts your attitudes and behavior. Once you have clarity in these areas, so reflect on how your lifestyle and worldview impacts your attitude and behaviors. Once you have clarity in these areas, you can let go of what is not effective and make change toward wellness. So, what are you doing in your lifestyle? What is impacting you? You have to change that behavior. Is it negative? Because it's all about your well-being. It needs to be focused on positivity, not so much focused on negativity. This is the lesson here of this conflict. You are focused too deep. Sometimes people don't want the deep energy. You got to be a little bit more light and be more positive. Make a real effort to change your unhealthy habits. Through this process, you will be able to determine what's essential to you. As you alter your behavior, you will enjoy a sounder body, mind, and spirit. This will mean balancing your relationships and work, balancing this energy of being deep with lighthearted, okay? Sometimes people like the facade. It's okay. Sometimes it's okay to have the rose-colored lens. Just have the energy of balancing it and not taking on too much of the negativity. And it's not that you're being negative. You're just being honest. And sometimes when you have so much clarity and awareness, it can make someone crazy. Because I know the truth. I know if you know so much about health and you're like, oh no, I cannot have McDonald's. And then you see a loved one have McDonald's. It can make someone crazy because you know the real ingredients. But you have to not be as strict. You have to have more harmony and balance in your life and more positivity, which the Sun card was saying here. Now, another thing you have is choice. This is another lesson here. Somehow along the way you have, and this also was talking about choices too. Just so somewhere along the way, you have given up your right to decide. This can happen for many reasons. You may have quit making choices upon the pretext of being agreeable or putting someone else's needs before your own. Okay, so we're already getting addressed. Okay, because you're so honest, and I keep saying brutally honest, you are acting like you don't have a choice. You have to always speak up, and you don't always have to speak up. You have an option. There is a choice. If you feel confused about your decision, evaluate what's going on. Come up with a list of possible outcomes before you do what you do. So before you start to say the things you say, maybe think about, if I say this, if I address dishonesty and truth this way, what will be the outcome? If I address dishonesty and truth this way, or should I say something at all? Write down all the outcomes and you will see all the different possibilities. Once you begin to make a choice for yourself, it will become easier and easier to choose what you love. And that is the big lesson of this argument, okay, and this conflict. Outcome if I act with integrity. And integrity is when you are being honest. Integrity is when you have strong morals and principles. Integrity is when there is honor. So it's basically honesty. So what happens when you act out in integrity? So we don't want to lie because there was deception involved with this. Elevation. You are making the conscious decision to rise your vibrations of love. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with others, not just others. You're also accepting things. You're ready to release control of situations or people because you're being honest. You don't have control of the person you're having conflict with. And lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. And also evolution. You realize that obstacles are merely lessons on your path of love. Here are the lessons here. Isn't that great? I actually really love that. How to take your power back. Let's see. How to take your power back. And we have the Justice card, and this is about fairness. This is about just and harmony. How to take your power back is to focus on harmony and balance in your life. It's also about being fair. So you have that. Now, what is the Spirit's advice from the highest peace? Now, the Spirit's advice is that it's not all about money. It's not all about tangible items. It's not all about the illusion or the toxic energy of finances, because I think this argument is over money, or the illusion of what everyone else thinks, the addiction, the toxic energy. Also, too, because there needs to be honesty, right? This card here suggests that peace won't come from pretending everything's fine. And also, peace is not going to come when you're trying to control others, because there's usually shackles with this here. So you need to release the control. It comes from freeing yourself from whatever's keeping you emotionally chained to this situation. So not just freeing them and trying to control them, but freeing yourself as well. There could be obsession, there could be resentment, there could be fear, there could be ego, there could be power struggles, maybe even self-blaming. What are you giving energy to? And it's draining you. It's trapping you. It makes you feel like you're imprisoned. What toxic pattern, because this represents a toxic pattern or attachment, are you finally ready to cut and release? Remember the lessons here. It's all about your well-being, and you need to have some harmony. It's all about releasing and not trying to. You have a choice, because this could be a toxic energy, this energy of always being so brutally honest. So what is the path to resolution? We have the 4 of inspiration. This is stability. This is structure. This is family. This is community. And there needs to be a focus on stability. Whether it's finances, whether it's stability in the way you think. So what is the path of resolution? We've discussed so many things, but this is just to reiterate it. And it's about having a homecoming. This is about celebration. This is about unity after a conflict. Choose peace over your pride. Rebuild your trust through shared intentions. Don't keep talking about the past. It's talking about stability and structure and foundation here. Create a space that is physically and emotionally stable, that's honest, that has harmony, that this is harmony here, that's why I'm touching this, and belonging, and thrive off of that energy, okay? Because this is a card of fun, this is a card of celebrations, and also the card of structure. So you want to provide those things. Even though this conflict, it is what it is. But remember, the lesson is that you had a choice on how you address the conflict. And you also, because it's all about your reaction, and you also have well-being. And you need to be more optimistic. Instead of this deepness is very positive. Trust me, I'm a Scorpio moon. I love all this. At the same time, some people want to be in la la land. And that's okay. Joy is possible, but only if you're willing to meet halfway. Anchor and respect the soul level of clarity. Lastly, I'm going to throw these things out here. If you want to soothe the wound, it's all about new ideas, new perspectives, new emotions, new relationships. This is what's going to happen at the end of this. Empowered action that you can take. And we have the 9 of emotions. And I just want to say that speaking the truth and being honest, there's so many blessings in that. However, not everyone is open to it. Not everyone is ready to receive it. So you have to make a decision on, is this audience able to receive it? Because not everyone is able to receive it, right? So with the 9 of Cups, it's all about empowered action. Also look at the blessings you do have. And this is something that they can look at too. The person you're conflicting with is not about lacking. It's also looking at what you are content with, and gratitude. Expressing gratitude. This seems more on the side of the person you're conflicting with. This is something that they can do. They can look at all the things that they have and not think of the things that they don't have as well. Now, these things could be balanced out, right? So the lesson here for you is to focus on well-being. Okay. And the lesson between both of you guys is that there needs to be structure. There needs to be a safety environment here for our emotions. And there also needs to be acceptance. Right? Looking at the glass half full, looking at the glass half full doesn't always work, but this is the imbalance that is there, and there needs to be acceptance of that behavior and awareness that they are this way and that you are deeper, so that they are a little bit more light and that you are a little bit more deep. Also, too, their lesson is that they also have a choice. They have a choice that they can listen to you, or they can just go about their business, or they have a choice to see how they reacted. Just because you started the conflict, if this is the case, it could have been the other way around. No, it's whatever started the conflict, they have the option to change the reaction to it. They have a choice on how to react as well. So I hope, let me see, we have some more here. Let me see what else we have. I actually saw that cup, so the cup is gone. So let's see what we have here. Do not look for validation in others. Be uniquely you and follow your own path. It's great that you are who you are. So I don't want to change anything about you. I don't want to change the fact that you are honest, that you have clarity, that you use your voice, you're very open to discuss things, that you're very deep. We don't want to take any of those things away. So do not look for others for validation. Continue to be who you are, right? At the same time, this energy here, because this devil card could also be that they are so into spending money as well. I want you to know that, because that is toxic energy, because I keep thinking this side is you and this side is them, and there needs to be structure and there's illusions here. But I do want you to understand that you still need to be yourself, but there needs to be a resolution. And to have this resolution is that you have to be a little bit more optimistic and put a little more trust in them, even though they're depending on a false structure. Be led by your own inner soul light. Healing and enlightenment are within. So it's all about listening to what God is telling you. I'm going to pull one more for both of you guys. Again, this could be them, or both of these things could be you. And then lastly, we have let go of who you think you should be and embrace who you are. Again, this is very much like, it seems like what you're doing is great. I'm sad that you think that you are the victim here, because you're not the victim. From what I'm gathering, from looking at all the cards, and I was reading it as I was going, it seems like there is this energy of toxic behavior, finances, illusions, and secrets and all that stuff. That's what it seems like is happening here. And it looks like you're being honest, but they have a choice. But the truth is that you need to elevate. You need to have harmony. They need to be content with what they have. That's not your job to make sure they do that. You're not in charge of that. You just say your truth and you move on. Let go of who you think you should be and embrace who you are. Maybe you're not the one to take control of them. However, you are the truth seeker. So you do speak your truth. That could very much be possible. You are making the conscious decision to raise your vibration of love. It's all about the focus of love here. All about the focus. I keep thinking this is them and this is you. There needs to be an enlightenment. There needs to be healing here. And you need to be who you truly are. I hope this answered your questions. I hope this was relating to you. This could be something that they are dealing with financially. This could be something that they're dealing health-wise. This could be something that they're dealing with a house. So it's something tangible that the argument was over and you were being brutally honest about it. And I keep saying brutally because I can't think of anything else. It's very deep over here. A lot of honesty, a lot of truth, a lot of clarity, a lot of, we got a lot of air signs here, a lot of air energy and thoughts and thinking at the same time. You want balance, you want harmony, you want to be fair. So you do have that. I think that this conflict that you honestly didn't do anything that's negative. It's just that this side cannot see it the way that you see it. This side is very lighthearted. This side is focused more on the tangible items and you're focused more on the deeper items, right? And how can you bring this to harmony? First of all, you need to be a little bit more optimistic and not as negative because this is negative. So just be a little bit more optimistic. And this is someone who they're not trying to play the long game. They're not trying to plant their seed. Well, they're going to plant their seeds and see what happens. So the energy is let them learn their lesson on their own. You don't have to bring the lesson to them. It's clear that the lesson is going to be on their own. You are here to help have a structure for them, to bring a community, a family, a stability. That is what you're here for. So you say what you say and you let it go to God. All right? I hope that makes sense. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.